Another loss. I can't believe it! That's it! It's time for me to get serious about dueling. With this shock collar, I'll get 100 volts every time I misplay. My destiny starts now! Good afternoon, jank enthusiasts. I'm MBT, and this is 10-minute testing. Forgive me, Master. Just this once, I'm gonna go all out. It's time to get edgy. Before we get into the video, plug time. What I've got in front of me are some goodies from Pyramid. They are an incredible company that sells high-quality field cloths that are just absolutely breathtaking. If you've heard of them before, it's probably because they only produce these in limited quantities and they sell out in seconds. But great news if you want to cop one, they have recently started a monthly unlimited run field cloth series. The current one is this lovely Madolce mat. What's more, I've got the CEO of Field Cloths on the phone here. Yeah. And they just told me they will bring back last month's Shadow cloth as well for MBT viewers from the 19th to the 21st only. And anyone snagging anything from their site can get $5 off with the promo code MBTDC5. So, knock yourself out. Not you.
I'm starting to really get sick of this thing.
So here's the list, and wow. For CyberDarks, this is not looking too bad. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck has a deck builder, pack opener, card database, and a wealth of strategy articles. It's also where I post the Chalice Line monthly deck breakdowns, so give it a look at www.ygoprodeck.com. Alright, here's a crash course in CyberDarks. Edgiest character in a show full of edgy characters, Zane Truesdale was an established duelist from Obelisk Blue whose Cyber Dragon deck didn't take shit from anybody. Until he took a massive amount of shit from the Destiny hero player Aster Phoenix. How either of these decks were able to win any games in 2006 is beyond me. After his humiliating loss, Zane faced his former master to obtain the forbidden dark cyber monsters that would usher in a new era of Shadow the Hedgehog cosplay. And they're the CyberDarks. That's right, it was a plot point in GX that someone was winning with these cards. In the TCG, the CyberDarks debuted in CyberDark Impact. You may have heard the name of this set before, as the butt of a joke. This ironically named set had just about zero impact on the metagame, and is largely regarded by the player base as the absolute worst pack ever released. I have two formative memories of CyberDark Impact. Firstly, it released right when I got an allowance from my parents for the first time. It was $3 a week, and I bought so much of this pack. I remember building a chain link deck in my home with Iris the Earth Mother as my finisher before I got laughed out of locals. My other fond remembrance of CyberDark Impact is from the 2017 NAWCQ, where a vendor was selling boosters from a wash tub for $1 a piece. In retrospect, this set probably isn't that bad. Many GX sets were completely terrible, and this one at least has Vanity's Fiend, Chain Strike, Snipe Hunter, Instant Fusion, and the barrier statues that are still playable today. But one series of cards that did not age well are the CyberDarks. The CyberDarks are a series of 4-star machine monsters with a shared effect. On summon, you can attach a level 3 or lower dragon monster from your graveyard to these cards, and they'll gain its attack. They also each have a small benefit, and I do mean small here. Horn pierces, edge attacks directly for half damage, and Keel deals 300 when it destroys a monster. Yeah, really. When these cards were printed, they faced two issues. Firstly, there weren't any good dragons. Obviously, these were meant to be played with the armed dragon monsters, but after those failed to catch on, Masked Dragon and Hunter Dragon, a literal vanilla, were the best targets. Second, playing these often 2200 attack monsters in a format with 2400 attack monarchs was a death sentence. They were subsequently shoved down the memory hole with Roids and Neospacians. Until 2017. In Legendary Duelists, Konami printed a new and unremarkable fusion boss for the archetype alongside a field spell and two new CyberDarks. The new ones, Cannon and Claw, were dragons that could be pitched from the hand to search a CyberDark monster or spell or trap. The field spell Inferno prevented targeting and destruction of CyberDarks and floated into a fusion spell on destruction. I cannot stress this enough. This was exactly what CyberDark was missing. An easy way to get a dragon into the graveyard and a field spell that protected your fragile bodies. Unfortunately, because they were released in 2017 and not 2008, they never really took off in the TCG. That said, they were hugely popular in Duel Links. A CyberDark core was relatively inexpensive, edge attacked for more than a quarter of your life total, and CyberDark Cannon was kind of foolish burial, which players would use to send a bacon saver from their deck to the graveyard. So when Konami started taking viewer feedback on what structures people would like to see in the future, Cybers were high on the list. The cards we got from that process are, I can't say this more clearly, some of the most individually powerful cards I have ever read in my life. Like the Sacred Beast support, they are in service of a truly unsalvageable archetype, but these make Spirit Gates look like child's play. CyberDark World is a continuous spell that adds a CyberDark monster from your deck to your hand, then gives you a free normal for a CyberDark. Finally, it lets you equip monsters from your opponent's graveyard to your CyberDarks, which I imagine never comes up. Next, Cybernetic Horizon bins 2 Cyber cards with different attributes to add any Cyber monster, binning a Cyber Fusion at resolution. These are insane. They're unbelievable cards. And of course, they are all searchable from CyberDark Claw and CyberDragon Core. We've included an expanded Dogmatica engine in this deck. The biggest downside to CyberDarks currently is an inability to bin the fusions necessary to make their shiny new boss. But between Horizon, Nadir, and Maximus, we should be able to send both halves of CyberDark End, Rafflesia to search Overload Fusion, and App Cologne for Schism plays. Ideally, we'll set up a competent board going first of Untargetable Idiots, Trap Cards, and Winda, and on the crackback, we'll make a 5,000 attack point monster the United States government would waste $13 trillion to get its hands on. So with that, let's check out the card by card. First, our CyberDarks. We are on 1 apiece. There are maybe some corner cases where you summon a CyberDark Dragon off of an Overload Fusion, and let's be honest, the upside to these cards is so bad that it's not like you're missing some huge opportunity to max out on CyberDark Edge. We're on 1 apiece of Keel, Horn, and Edge, followed by 3 Cannon. This card's fantastic. Can be sent to the graveyard to add a CyberDark monster from your deck to your hand, and if it is equipped to your CyberDark monster, it can send a card from your deck to the graveyard during damage calculation. Keep that in mind for later. Next is CyberDark Claw. This is unbelievably strong. Adds a CyberDark spell trap from your deck to your hand. Previously, this was not a very good card because the only target that was worth finding was CyberDark Inferno. Now we've got Horizon and World, so it's back on the menu. Moreover, if it's equipped to a monster when it attacks, you can send a card from your extra deck to the graveyard, and if you're looking at our extra, you can see that we pretty much want this entire thing in the grave. Entis, App Cologne, Rafflesia, it's all good stuff. After that, we've got CyberDragon Core. This is a weird one. CyberDragon Core isn't a CyberDark monster, but CyberDark World doesn't restrict the extra normal summon. You can use your normal summon on Core and your extra normal on CyberDark monsters. It's just a really weird, interesting interaction, and CyberDragon Core searches a Cyber spell trap, so you can use it to get the world that gets you the extra normal anyway, or the Horizon if you have everything you want. Moreover, if it goes to the graveyard, you can summon another CyberDragon Core from your deck to play defense, and it flexes into an Almirage, which is important for our next card, Ecclesia. Gosh, Nadir is going to get limited on the next list. Oh, there is no two ways about it. Shoot. Ecclesia is a great way to ensure that you don't die on the crackback. Gets really powerful cards like Dogmatica Punishment, Fleur-de-Lis, but our most powerful Dogma card is this one, Maximus. Maximus is a house in this list. As you can see, we need a lot of stuff in our grave. We need both halves of the Cyberdarkness End fusion. We need the Shadal stuff to get off to the races. We need the Chimera Rafflesia in the graveyard. We need the Antisses if we want to break through boards. And Maximus is the way to get there. After that, we've got 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, and 3 Psyframe Gear Gamma and a Psyframe Driver. Finally, we're on 1 Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. This is maybe a little bit high roll. I'm not super convinced on this yet. Cannon can send this to the graveyard, and then on the following turn, you search Overload Fusion off of Rafflesia and use it to make End. Then you can equip this card to the End on your side of the field, But End is already a super unaffected monster, and it's unlikely your opponent's going to have a really clean out to it, so locking them out of the extra deck really doesn't resolve anything. I'm unconvinced, but I am willing to try it for the time being. Next, we've got 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. Should go without saying, any deck that can play this card probably should. 3 Disciple of the Nadir. This is just so strong. We don't do a lot of fusion summoning on our first turn, so it's completely fine to absolutely lock ourselves from the extra deck as early as possible, and CyberDark World and Cybernetic Horizon are self-explanatory. We're only on 1 Inferno. Inferno's not a very good card. It lets you perform an extra normal summon by bouncing a CyberDark to your hand and then immediately normaling again, which accomplishes pretty much nothing outside of some corner cases, and it only gives them protection once they're equipped, so if your opponent responds to the effect that equips, they can still destroy your monsters, but it does float, and that's very nice. We've got the Overload Fusion, the float target. This is searchable a number of ways, so we're only on the 1, followed by 2 Dogmatica Punishment and a Schism. In the extra deck, we're on CyberDark End Dragon. This is such a crazy card. So this can be fusion summoned 2 ways, either by banishing a Cyberdark Dragon and a Cyber End Dragon from your graveyard with Overload, which is how we summon it, or by tributing a level 10 or lower Cyberdark fusion monster that is equipped with Cyber End Dragon. How are you doing that? Well, you can put Cyber End Dragon into the graveyard and then, I don't know, make Cyber Darkness. It's not pretty. It is unaffected by activated effects, which is pretty strong, and allows you to equip anything from any graveyard to it, and then attack a number of times equal to the equipped cards. Next, we've got Cyber End Dragon. You gotta use this art. It's the darkest, followed by an El Shadal Construct, a Titanclad, a Cyberdark Dragon, a Chimeratech Fortress, a Chimera Rafflesia, an Apkalone, a Winda, 2 Entis, an Omega, a Wind Pegasus Adagnister, a Gravity Controller, and an Almirage. The cuttable cards from here are Gravity Controller, Frame Lord Omega, and Chimeratech Fortress, and you would probably be cutting them for just more comprehensive link boards. The Nightmares come to mind as something that you could make off of extra Cyber Dragon cores that end up on your side of the field. I would probably do that moving forward, but for the time being, we're just trying this out, seeing how high we can roll. So with that, let's jump into the games. Our first match is up against Evil Twin Artifact, and I can't even pretend I dislike this deck. This thing is so fun. All right, our opponent's going first. They're going to be able to lock us out of the extra deck, but joke's on them. It's not like we intend to use it. They're going to go for a Kiss a Kill off of a Live Twin Entrance, which is going to get them the Lilla Treat. They'll make Kiss a Kill and then activate its effect to summon a Lilla Treat from graveyard into a Lilla, into a Kiss a Kill, into a drawn card. This is just the entire play that they will go for every turn, finally ending on a Kiss a Kill, 3 set, and a pass. They'll activate Sanctum ASAP, and we have pretty much everything we need. They'll activate Size Effect. Let's see how far we can get. We're going to begin with a copy of CyberDark World. That's going to add a Claw to hand. We'll activate Claw. We have everything but Inferno, so we'll search that. We'll activate Inferno. They're forced to fire the Lilla here to destroy the Inferno because they really don't have a good way to interact with us if this card is on the field. That floats into an Overload Fusion, which we can't activate this turn. We'll go for a Saiho in order to get a cannon to hand. We can trigger the Graveyard Effect of Core. This is the other attribute Cyber Monster that we have added. And then we're going to activate the effect of Cannon for an Edge. We'll extra normal our Edge, equipping this copy of Claw. Then we'll normal this Horn, equipping this copy of Cannon. Let's proceed to the battle phase. We will attack with Edge, triggering the effect of Claw and sending an Apkalone. That's going to get us a Schism. Afterwards, we're going to, unfortunately, eat the treat and attack with this copy of Cannon equipped into the same attack-pointed Kiss a Kill. We're going to crash, except our monster survives, and we draw a card, which is, what do you know, Nadir Servant. We'll send a copy of Entis, and unfortunately hit the Chainable Trap Evil Twin Challenge. They'll activate Lilla into Kiss a Kill again, triggering Kiss a Kill to draw a card. We'll set 2, and we're kind of at parity here. Our opponent's going to lead with an Ignition. God, that sucks. That means we won't be able to activate the punishment. And they'll go to main phase 1, going into a Unicorn. They'll trigger the effect of the Unicorn. We'll chain the Schism. They'll chain the Kiss a Kill. Unfortunately, even though we can remove the Unicorn with the effect of Schism, they are still going to draw a card. The Lilla's going to activate, popping the Schism, and then they'll go into an Unchained Abomination. They're going to attack into our window. We do get the Schism back, but they get to eat our entire board. This is not looking fantastic. They're going to activate Monster Reborn in main phase 2, bringing back this Lilla. Come on, they'll activate Lilla's effect to bring back Kiss a Kill, and then they will draw an additional card before going into Nightmare Griffin. Oh god, that negates the effects of any monsters that aren't linked, so we're going to have to be careful from here on out. They're finally going to destroy CyberDark World, and then activate Challenge in draw phase to bring back the Kiss a Kill with Lilla access. We'll lead with a copy of Ecclesia. They'll shotgun the effect of Kiss a Kill. We'll summon Ecclesia to the link point. They'll activate Lilla to destroy it. That's no big deal because we can get Maximus and then summon the Maximus at link point after they've cleared our field with Abomination. We're going to go for a core first, which they Ash Blossom. Thank God. We're going to bring out the Maximus and activate the effect, sending the other half of CyberDark End Dragon, though we can't summon it just yet. We'll go for Edge here and go to the battle phase, attacking directly so we can use Claw to send a copy of Wind Pegasus Adagnister before passing back turn. They're They're going to destroy their own card in order to play around Wind Pegasus at Ignister and enable a Lila activation on their following turn, drawing an additional card off of the Kiss a Kill. This advantage engine is crazy. We're going to activate Schism ASAP to go into a construct. We'll send this copy of Kiss a Kill. They'll attack, but oh no, this construct has text! They'll set one card and pass it back to us. All we have to beat now is the live twin recursion, and Overload Fusion is a great way to do that. They're going to Lila into Kiss a Kill, and we will make CYBERDARK End Dragon! This card is so good. They're going to go for easy game, and they'll be able to destroy the equipped copy of Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, but a little late on getting rid of this card. We can shuffle it back with the Wind Pegasus at Ignister, and then we can activate Maximus afterwards in order to send the rest of the cards that we want in the grave to the grave. We'll attack into all of our opponent's monsters, clearing their field and getting in for lethal. Oh my god, they have another challenge. Okay, well, Kiss a Kill comes out, and that's going to bring a Lila along with it. We can still attack one of those and hope that they can't kill us on the next turn. Finally, we're going to Omega to put this copy of Inferno back in hand. They will Ash our Titanclad at end step, and there are draws that get them out of this, but Sanctum is not one. What a game! So it's time for game 2, and our opponent is playing Orcust Eldritch. I mean, jury's out on this deck, but I think it's one of the best, if not the best, Eldritch variants being played. Unfortunately, our opponent's hand is very Gearsu reliant, and we have a Psy Frame Gear Gamma. Get owned. That card will be going to the graveyard. They're going to activate Foolish Burial Goods in order to send a Hawk Arrow from deck to grave before setting 3, triggering Hawk, and passing. Okay, 4 back row, we can definitely chew through that. We're going to lead with a copy of, oh god, another one off the top, a Cyber Dragon Core that's going to add a CyberDark World to our hand. We'll go into Almirage and then special summon a copy of Ecclesia, whose effect we will use to get a copy of Maximus. Next, we'll Disciple. That Disciple is going to send an Entis to the graveyard. We'll Entis, and we shotgun the Cosmic Cyclone. Get owned. We'll go for CyberDark World afterwards, followed by a cannon for an Edge. We're going to normal summon the Edge using the effect of CyberDark World, and we'll equip that cannon from the graveyard as well. Finally, we'll go for a Maximus. We'll activate the effect of Maximus. We're going to send an Opcalone and another Entis. We're going to Entis this copy of Scarlet Sanguine so we can force it out early, and then we're going to add from our deck to our hand a copy of Schism, which we can get for the low cost of the second copy of Psyho. We're going to negate our opponent's monster's effect, and then activate the effect of Fleur de Lis so we can get over the Eldritch and push for lethal. They have one blocker, but we have left them on one card. We get to send a copy of Dragon Buster Destruction Sword to the graveyard for next turn. I mean, it would be ludicrous if they could win from this position. That's a good draw, though. They're going to go for Scarlet Sanguine, then activate the graveyard effect of Eldritch. That's going to special summon the Eldritch. They will normal summon a copy of Orcust Symbol Skeleton. They'll go to battle phase, walk over the Fleur de Lis and the Almirage, and then they will make a Galatea. They're going to bring back this copy of Gearsu with the Symbol Skeleton, then they'll activate Gearsu, sending a Nightmare. They'll use the Nightmare effect on the Galatea in order to send a World Wand, which will bring back the Symbol Skeleton. From here, they can link summon a second Galatea into a Ding Gearsu. They'll activate the effect of Ding Gearsu to send the Edge to the graveyard, trigger the effect of Galatea in order to set the counter trap, and oh my god, did we lose this game? Are you kidding me? They get 2 Scarlet Sanguines here at end step. Is there anything we can do about this? That's a sick draw. We're going to begin with a copy of Maximus, and we'll follow it up with a CyberDark World. We're going to normal summon a copy of Horn. We'll activate the effect of Horn, and they will climax. We are locked, so this Schism does nothing, and yeah, I guess we have, I guess this one didn't work out. So it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent's playing Invoked Shadow Dogmatica, a deck that is unfortunately one of, if not the best decks in the format. This showcases the biggest weakness of playing CyberDarks in the year of our Lord 2021. There are other strategies that profit off of dumping stuff from your extra deck to the graveyard. Our opponent's going first for the 3rd game in a row. They're going to go for a Shadow Fusion and then trigger the effect of Construct and Wendy. That's going to send a copy of Squamata to the graveyard and summon a beast to their side of the field. With Squamata, they're going to send a Hedgehog, which will add from deck to hand, you guessed it, another Squamata. They're going to set 2 and pass, and this is not that big of a board to break. We have a pretty sick grip. We'll begin with a copy of Cannon. That's going to get us an Edge. We'll then activate Cybernetic Horizon, and then add a couple of really crazy cards to our hand, binning 1/2 of CyberDark End Dragon. We'll go for a core, just fishing for hand traps, and then add an Inferno to hand, which eats a Cosmic Cyclone. This is the only piece of removal that doesn't float it into a copy of Overload Fusion. We're going to go for Disciple of the Nadir, and of course our Entis hits a Schism. They're going to go into a Winda, but we can still out this. We're going to spend our 1 special on Dragma Maximus. We'll activate his effect in order to send an Opcalone to the graveyard, and we'll go ahead and get a copy of Schism to our hand. We'll go to the battle phase and attack over this copy of Winda. 24 is greater than 22, and send a Chimera Rafflesia here as well. They get the Schism back, but we have a pretty set up board. We get to go for Titanclad at end step to get a copy of Fleur de Lis, and we get to go for Rafflesia in standby to get a copy of Overload Fusion. Things are looking up. Our opponent's going to begin with a copy of Beast, and this is maybe a little early, but I am going to go for the Dragma Knight here. Fleur de Lising this sucker negated. They're going to go for an Omega Aura, and then Cosmic Cyclone and Unknown. It's a punishment, and because they've already attempted to use the effect of the beast this turn, it is not going to be able to draw them a card. We'll send an Entis and destroy this construct while the Schism isn't in the graveyard. We're not going into the extra for the fusion, so they're forced to set 3 and pass. We'll go for Dragma again, and... oh, shit. Oh my god, they can just start sending Opcalone. Oh no, well they're able to destroy our Schism. We do trigger the effect of Wind Pegasus at Ignister to get their last remaining monster out, but we know they have a Schism set. How the hell do we win this game? Because they have a Schism set, they're going to be able to flip it to go into Opcalone, which can't be destroyed by battle, and Stonewalls, our lethal attempt. It also is able to send the Edge to the graveyard and negate the effect of Horn, which prevents us from getting advantage off of Cannon or Claw. Oh boy. They're going to go for Schism. Very fun that this is not one time. You get to do it every turn. They're going to construct to send a copy of Ariel, and our CyberDark End is off too. They're going to banish the CyberDark Dragon and the Cyber End Dragon. This is it. Okay. All right. Let's make Fortress and concede. So it's time for game 2, and oh, Battle of the Bricks. Our opponent's drawn 4 hand traps and an invocation. We've drawn no CyberDarks. That's it. I'm cutting Destruction Sword. We're going first for the first time ever, and this is not a good open. They're going to begin with a Phantasme. Who plays Phantasme in 2021? They're going to go for a Cosmic Cyclone on our set card. We're going to chain a Dragma Punishment, and I have made a rookie mistake versus Shadow. I have left a monster summoned from the extra deck on my side of the field. They're going to go for a copy of Shadow Fusion to go into Construct, triggering the effect of Construct and the effect of Squamata, sending a copy of Schism to the graveyard, and then triggering the effect of Wendy to set a copy of Beast. They're going to attack into me for huge damage, 24 plus 28. Then in main phase 2, they will link off this Construct for a Gravity Controller and trigger its effect to get the Schism back to hand. We can Gamma this and keep the Schism off field, but it's pretty short-lived. I don't know what we're doing from here. We have to draw Crazy, and that is not a good one. Okay, we're going to go for the Max. Unfortunately, we can't activate it because if they send Opcalone, they just get their entire linear game plan. We're going to eat the board with this Fleur-de-Lis, and I think we're just hoping that our Dogmaticas are going to, I don't know, drag our bloated corpse across the finish line. It seems pretty unlikely. Our opponent draws for turn. It's another Shadow Fusion. That should be enough, but I don't think they even need it. They're going to go to Cross Sheep and Invocation into a Construct. Insult to injury here. They're going to trigger the Ariel, banishing our entire graveyard alongside the Cross Sheep, which is going to allow them to summon back this copy of Hedgehog and go into Boral Sword. We are at under 3,000. That is all she wrote. So we're back with the deck, and at least with the exception of the very last one, they were all close. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1, I mean, these 2 new cards are unbelievably strong. If they don't find a home in this deck, they're going to see play somewhere. I mean, this searches a monster and then summons it for free, and we all know how good Quick Launch was. 2, this deck is pretty hard to interact with. The field spells protection is comprehensive, and the deck's so repeatable that if your opponent invests anything into breaking your board, you can kill him on the crackback. And 3, the new fusion monster is extremely based. It's also super easy to summon with the 15 extra deck dumps the deck has. And the cons. 1, probably not a good idea to go all in on Maximus while Shadow is tier 1. Just a thought. 2, it doesn't put up a ton of negates. Now, historically, there have been periods in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where that's fine, but a lot would have to change first. And 3, it's not competitive against other decks that have a near-infinite grind game. That's a big liability when control decks are at an all-time high. All in all, I mean, it's the best attempt yet at fixing CyberDark, but Christ, these cards are bad. There's only so much you can do. So that's that. As always, thanks to my patrons Dominic Ernst, Hakuo, AJBYGO, Alex Perea, BB Poison, Blue Fanfiction Inc., Caleb Jassa, Chibi Gohan, Connor Kid, Crispy, Dimsum05, Dubs Rewatcher, Frosty, Jack Sack PhD, King Magic Ruler, Night Mary, Kylie Denton, Major Rusty, Matt, Mike Carlotti, Phoenix Strix, Rocky Hernandez, Rose Lapine, Sarah Routledge, Seeker, Space Dandy 1993, Adam Trevino, Adrian Bra, Emil Elefandi, Alex Dominguez, Alfred Hendricks, Amaranta V, Andrew Benson, Andrew Ferruia, Andrew Horseman, Apex TCG, Ballin Stalin, Based Madoka, Billy Williams, Blake Root, Blair, Brandon Keys, Candide, Captain Breadbeard, Chad Bortz, Chad Weatherington, Chorps Away, CJ Alex, Cole Shulian, Control for the Win, Crystal Red Fox, Cubic is the best deck, Daffy Deathclock, Dan the Man Hoban, Danny Guadalupe, Darcy Tevs, Dive Missile, Dogma, Dominic, Chris, Doug Parslow, Dr. Batman, Dying Eyes, Distran, Emperor, Stover, Ernesto Ibarra, Fighting Fang, Wong, Fisker, Whiskers, FUTR, Game of Wolf, Gavin K, Hank, Cheesecake, Helios, The Helios, Haroof, How to Lose, Jose Mina, Isaac Jackson, Jane Linya, Jason Leonard, Jay Gordon, Jeff Leonard, Jonathan Wallace, Jupe, Jose Luis Cortez, Joy or John, Juliet Julian, Callie, Corey Hess, Kurakaze, Lake Bayer, Lawrence, Lightshorn Gorgon, Lottie, Lover Plesse, Lucas Angles, Lucas Geardas, Lucas Arizzo Hansen, Major Duncan, Malleus, Matthew Taylor, Max Meadow Edits, Mezzo Emrys, Michael Oskvark, Miles Edgelord, Mimes Are Creepy, Miska Aronin, Miyuna Arashi, Nicholas Alexander, Nick Extreme 99, Nero Soup, Nitro Skull, Nix Dolores, No Penguin, Omase, One Glad Morning, Austrin, Papa Dragonite, Par 2, Picnic Blasted, Precise Spike 13, Pro FB2, Sam Pinney, Sam Soon, Sapphic Ashley, Scrafted, Sean Deal, Sean Flynn, Sendoria, Standards Objective, Swinkles, Tate Rosencutter, The Carl Moxley, The Saucy Pickle, This Machine 237, Thought Auditor, TJ Steakhouse, Yuri's Best, Oli Biarki, Aust Fioro, and Yukie. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing. And if you want to be part of the process, consider following me on Twitch as well. See you next time.